Behind me is a Fairey Firefly AS6. Like I saw this article about the Canadian airplane. It was in Flying Magazine, March or April of '74. And I still remember the caption under the picture. It said, 6 tons, 2 men, and a Griffin. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and so who would ever know that 20 years later, I would have one. This aircraft was designed as a long-range fighter. Guy in the back, he's not a gunner, he's not a torpedo guy, he is the navigator and ran a radar. So you see the 2 pods that are out on the wings. One of those pods was a radar and the other was a fuel tank. In this configuration, the way it's been restored, both of them are fuel tanks because we restored it as a ground attack aircraft. And people say, well, what about the stripes? Why are the stripes on it? Those are not D-Day stripes per se because the aircraft didn't fly D-Day, but the aircraft was painted with these invasion stripes in Korea because communists were operating Yaks, which were propeller airplanes, and they did not want the jets to shoot this thing down. And the way this aircraft is restored, as you see it in this paint configuration, is this exact aircraft was operated in Korea as a ground attack aircraft. Carried 2 1,000-pound bombs, or it could carry 16 60-pound warhead rockets. And same thing with maneuvering. It's the only Allied aircraft outmaneuvered 0 after World War II. It's got a set of what are called Fairey-Youngman flaps. The flaps drop down and they extend out beyond the wing, and they're basically parallel to the wing, so it looks like a biplane. So, and it's a tank. I mean, you look at it, it's a pretty strong airplane. When you figure out what it takes to do this, it is just, I mean, it's pretty mind-boggling. They sold this aircraft at auction. A town in Australia called Griffith, New South Wales, bought the aircraft for $400. And then they had somebody donate the fuel. They flew the airplane to Griffith and they put it up on a pole in front of the RSL Club, which is the same as like the VFW here in the US. Basically what you see here is a 45,000 man-hour restoration, and as many as 10 people work like full-time for 8 years. It's a slave job, I mean, it really is. I mean, for me to get ready to fly, you know, I had to clock all my hours, and I basically expend about 40 hours of my time for every flight hour. When these aircraft were in service, 100 people took care of 3 of them. So I keep waiting for the other 32 guys to show up. They haven't yet. Like all the nuts and bolts, the hardware, everything, it's not metric, it's not AN, it's all British stuff. So it's BSW, BSF, and the thread pitches are different on all the screws, the countersinks are different on all the screws, and you can't mix any of this stuff up. And so trying to find it, you know, a handful of screws like this is like 1,500 bucks. And it's, like I said, the airplane belongs to everybody, all you guys. This is your machine. It's a privilege to have, if it can only talk.